Nifty 50 and Nifty 500, which is the better index?
Nifty 50 is a worst indices in India.
In this 15 years of journey, there will come a moment where I would have to decide to switch out some mutual funds from my portfolio. How do I decide which one to keep, which one to dump now?
When you pick a theme, don't pick a theme which has done exceedingly well. Pick a theme which is going through challenging time. A lot of people have FMCG stocks in their portfolio. In my opinion, the best days of FMCGs are behind us.
What were your mistakes when it comes to managing your own money?
You start lending to your friends, relatives, and that is a mistake I made.
Did you lose money there?
Of course, it's always like that. Every time, भैया 3 महीने के लिए ले रहे हैं, बाद में you know what happened.
Wish you all a very happy Diwali and a happy new year. In this episode, I sit down with Mr. Vijai Mantri, who's a well-known market expert and comes with more than 30 plus years of market experience. In this episode, you are going to learn how to go about building a mutual fund portfolio for 2040. Why thematic mutual funds could make all the difference in your portfolio returns. What's the difference between sectoral mutual funds and thematic mutual funds? When to exit mutual funds and much more. If you're new to my channel, hit the subscribe button and enjoy this Diwali special episode.
Vijayji, thank you so much for giving your time. So when it comes to building generational wealth, mutual funds, a lot of people invest in mutual funds, right? And let's say if somebody were to build their mutual fund portfolio and remain invested for, let's say, up until 2040, how should they go about mutual fund portfolio? Should they select some specific types of mutual funds? How do they construct this mutual fund portfolio according to you?
In my opinion, I'm not a person who invest only in Flexi or Multi.
Right.
I believe that in India, earlier we used to talk about diversified equity mutual fund. We just invest in few diversified equity mutual fund. Then the factor-based investing came into play. Small cap, flexi cap, mid cap, large cap. So people start migrating toward that. But now what we are witnessing is thematic funds.
Right.
And why it is such a fascinating journey? Because like in Nifty you have 50 stocks or you have 100 stocks in Nifty 100. In various of these themes, the number of stock to own are 50 to 100.
Right.
So it is not that you are taking a concentrated bets. Second thing, the revenue pool of these stocks are very different. So for instance, earlier, if you look at BFSI, it means you're taking a bet on the banks.
Right.
But today you have a public sector bank, your private sector bank, your payment bank, your various kind of bank. This is one part of the book. Then you have other lending institution, NBFC, housing finance company, personal loan company, gold finance company. If you want to play gold finance company deliver much better return than gold.
Right.
So a gold finance company. Then your capital market companies in which you have a stockbroker, stock exchanges, RTA, wealth management company. And their revenue pools are very, very different. So more people are investing in gold. The gold finance company is also part of your portfolio. Right. More companies start going toward real estate. Then you have a housing finance company is part of your portfolio. So you have full bouquet in that. So it is not that risky people misunderstood to be. Second thing, what we have witnessed that you look at 47 fund houses and you identify out of this 47 fund houses, there are 25, 30 fund houses, which you believe are very good fund house because of the track record, the kind of processes they have in place. And you ask them which sector you like. And the fund manager say, I'm bullish on XYZ sector for multi-years and kind of thing. As for instance, let's look at healthcare. Now, suppose healthcare weightage in indices is 6%.
Right.
And the guy is very bullish. His compliance guy will not allow him to go more than 10%, 12%. But if I know a great fund manager, group of great fund manager are very bullish on the healthcare sector, I should have a healthcare fund in my portfolio.
Right.
And healthcare again is not old drug manufacturing companies alone. You have a diagnostic center, you API, your contract manufacturer, your hospital chain, all of them. So you create a nice pool. So if you are creating a portfolio for 2040, which is 15 years from now, have decent allocation in thematic fund.
Right.
And not sectoral funds. Sectoral funds are very different from thematic fund. So I will give to my client at least 20 to 25% allocation into thematic fund. And rest of the thing you can do 25% around a small mid cap and 50% into Flexicap. It also depends on what time the client is coming in.
Right.
Right now, suppose I believe small cap will do very well over a 10-year period. But next 1 or 2 year could be very challenging. So right now I can't give him a small cap because his investment journey else also has to be palatable to him.
Right.
So right now I'll think of large cap fund. Right now I'll think of Flexicap fund. And once I believe that most of the risk is behind in a small and mid cap, that is the time I'll start suggesting him and mid and a small cap fund. So if 2040, look at decent allocation to thematic fund, look at decent allocation to Flexicap right now.
Right. You also said thematic mutual funds are different from sectoral mutual funds. Just for the benefit of our viewers, can you please give us some examples, clarify it, just so that everybody is on the same page?
So even MP data, they put thematic and sector fund together, but they are dramatically opposite. So IT is a sector fund, railways is a sector fund, defense, infrastructure, these are sectors. Why these are sector? Because one, the number of stock to own are very limited. Second, few stock constitute large part of their indices. So if you look at IT, top 5 company will take 85% of the indices. If you took defense, only 10, 12 companies are available to invest. So one, second thing, the revenue pool is identical. IT's revenue pool is identical. Railways revenue pool is identical. Defense revenue pool is identical. So one is revenue pool is identical. You don't get enough genuine diversification. Thematic fund, on the contrary, the number of stock to own are much larger. For instance, if you look at manufacturing, in manufacturing, you can have autos, you can have engineering company and caps goods company, and the business model could be very dramatically different. You could have energy as a theme, which we believe is going to play a big role. As we explained about healthcare, we spoke about BFSI. So number to stock to own are very large, and the business are complementing each other. Sometimes you have business which are a very negative correlation with each other. So you get much better quality portfolio. And for instance, look at thematic fund, look at healthcare fund. Whenever the market fall, healthcare fund fall has been much lesser. Okay. So consumption, manufacture, like what consumption? It is not FMCG. People confuse consumption with FMCG. Alcohol is a consumption. Healthcare has become consumption now because you will stop eating noodles. But once BP and diabetes tablet start, it is there with you forever. Travel is a consumption. Whatever you're consuming, so number of stock to own are much larger. A building material product is a consumption item. So you look at owning these, and it is such a fascinating thing. Rahul Ji, agar aap dekhen, if you see this now, it's very fascinating. Same industry, different outcome. If you look at buildings, real estate, okay. How do you play real estate? Go and own a property, one way to owning it. Go and own mortgage housing company, the performance is much better. Within building, now whenever you create a real estate, you need to consume cement and steel. Okay, their prices has not gone up as much. Why it has not gone up? It's very fascinating to see where the consumer's money is moving. 30 years back, suppose you're building a house. You have one tube light, one fan in one room. You whitewash your walls and start living. That was a consumption. Today, what is happening? The place we are sitting have 100 electric connection. Now look at kind of curtains we are using, kind of building material, carpets we are using, ceramic tiles we are using. So what we have seen in last 20 years, the building material companies, the wire manufacturing company, the switch manufacturing companies, market cap has gone up 100 times. So as an investor, you just can't, if I'm into investment advisory business, I look at what consumers are doing, not what market is telling me. If I know where the consumers are going, I know the move. So if I look at where I consume news, I get up in the morning and I see newspaper, I take toilet and read, and I'll come and read. If I look at my kids, they are not reading at all. They are not watching TV. They are not. So I know how in the news in future will get consumed where?
Social media maybe.
So it is not the news is not being consumed, but it's not consumed through
traditional channels.
Similarly, if you look at FMCG, a lot of people have FMCG stocks in their portfolio. In my opinion, the best days of FMCGs are behind us. You have great stock, the performance has been great, but going forward, what will happen? And from where the return will come. So it's very fascinating when you look at FMCG industry. And again, we take so wrong metrics कि urban consumption पे stress आ रहा because HUL की commentary खराब आई है. It means there's a pressure on the urban consumption. But just look at total turnover HUL is 60,000 crore. Total turnover of all listed FMCG companies 15-16 lakh crore. Put everything together. Now just look at Mahakumbh, 60 crore people visited in 42 days.
Right.
If one person spent average 1,000 rupees, that is 62,000 crore we spend in 42 days time.
Right.
If average person is spending is 10,000 to 30,000, then 2/3 to entire FMCG companies turnover we have done in 42 days time, just one item.
Right.
But what we have been trained, look at FMCG company and figure out what is happening on urban consumption. This story is very, very different. And why I'm saying, if you look at Philip Kotler's book on marketing, price, place, promotion, and
5 P's.
5P. For FMCG company, the biggest P was place, distribution.
Right.
For 70, 80 years, they created distribution. India's population was rising, their product penetration was growing, so they had a price movement, they have volume movement. Now, toothpaste, toothbrush has reached 97, 98% household. Almost everybody uses them. The place. Before COVID, if you need to buy something, you go outside, see a provision store, and you see a display unit. Acha wo dikh raha, wo le lo bhai. Now, today, that place is your palm. The place has become democratized.
Yeah.
And the way we consume has completely changed. And I'll give you a very fascinating, look at cosmetic product. I remember my mother telling my sister that, beta, this cosmetic product is good, so we need to buy this cosmetic product. So both my mother and my sister will go and buy a female cosmetic product from a male shopkeeper.
Right.
Now, the young girls in our family is telling mothers कि मम्मी इस प्रोडक्ट को रिहाना ने endorse किया, इस प्रोडक्ट को खरीदना हमने. Now the decision making has moved from mother to daughter.
Right.
And from physical to digital.
Right.
Huge transformation. The way cosmetic product gets sold today is not through distribution. It is sold through celebrity endorsement.
Right.
The way athletic drinks are sold today is through endorsement by athletes.
Right.
So as a person who's involved in the capital market, we need to know where the needle is moving.
Right.
And what we have witnessed that in every bull market, many bull get tired or become old or become obsolete because they don't change their track. They have their favorite way of looking at data. So it is very, very important from that perspective that if you are creating a portfolio, have these perspective in mind and have absolutely open mind. That is the way you create wealth.
Right.
There's no God, there's no villain.
In terms of retail investors investing in thematic mutual funds and trying to pick up themes, as you said, consumption or any other themes, isn't it that we also say that when you're investing in themes, you also need to try and see when is the theme likely to work, at least if not perfected, but at least have a fairly good idea about the entry point and the exit point. And retail investors have limited knowledge of the themes and the cycles that they undergo. So how should they go about, saying that I'm picking up this theme for 2040, which is a long period of time, and I need to exit at this point in time, or should they just remain invested? How do you play out the themes then?
Just look at simple. You have a gulab jamun in front of you and an amla in front of you. When you eat gulab jamun, it is very tasty to your tongue. Right. But this increases calorie. When you eat amla, it is not very tasty. Right. But you drink water after that, it is very tasty and it helps you. So when you look at investing, forget about thematic fund, any way of whenever you need to invest, whenever you see high return in immediate past 1 to 3 years, avoid that. Okay. Wherever you see challenges, examine that. It doesn't mean that you go and invest. Sure. Okay. So when you pick a theme, don't pick a theme which has done exceedingly well. Right. Pick a theme which is going through challenging time. Right. Healthcare is going through challenging time. Perhaps in some time you will see value emerging in IT industry. So pick the theme where nobody is talking about. People are very negative about it. You pick that theme. We have seen in 2019-20, everybody was negative on PSU. People are negative on commodities. People are negative on auto industry. Right. And all of them has done exceedingly well. I remember during COVID time, when COVID hit, I was listening to various experts on TV. And everybody said, go to high value companies, go to company which generate a lot of cash flows, leading consumer company, Pidilite, Asian Paint, Britannia, in paisa dalo, and avoid everything else. Exactly after 1 year, the biggest performing stock was Hindalco. Nobody spoke about Hindalco. Right. Hindalco, all metals companies prices gone up more than 100% during that phase, more than I think 200%. And these stocks struggle actually. But 2020, who was talking about these stocks? Just look at 3 years, 4 years, 5 years back. Everybody had Britannia, Asian Paint, HDFC Bank in the portfolio. Today, none of talk about these. किसी के portfolio में दिखता नहीं. बात नहीं करते होगा. So, if you are a retail investor, one of the good benchmark to look at is very simple. Look at 20, 30 years return. If 20, 30 years return is 13%, 14%, now your data for 20 or 30 years. And last 10-year return is 20% CAGR, then don't touch that product.
Right.
If last 10-year return is single digit, you start looking at that product category.
That's very useful. That's very, very useful. Also, I wanted to clarify 2040 mutual fund portfolio for a retail investor. How many mutual funds? Is there a benchmark or is there a good practice rather, not a benchmark? How many mutual funds they should have in their mutual fund portfolio?
So theoretically, 4 or 5 is enough.
Right.
But it is theoretically.
Right.
Anybody would say that I could manage my client's portfolio with 4 or 5. Any client say I could manage with 4 or 5. Actually, we're lying.
Okay.
It is human nature to go for variety.
Right.
Whether you close or holidays or eating, we know what is the best food. We know what is the best drink. But what happens?
We like to add more to our...
So if we need to appreciate that, we should not be too critical of human choices.
Sure.
Okay. We should be aware about these things. Okay. Else, I haven't seen people say 4 or 5 funds are good. But tell me how many people are handling 200 client portfolio where say all my 200 client have a 4 or 5 funds only.
Right.
It's just impossible. It is good to talk. You should have 4 or 5 fund in the portfolio, but practically it is not possible.
Right.
Because ultimately you are dealing with a human being who has emotion.
That's very practical actually, because it's very hard to resist yourself and just have only 3 to 4 mutual funds. Also, there is another question I wanted to check with you was on Flexicap versus Multicap mutual fund debate. And we understand the basic difference between Flexicap and Multicap. Multicap is 25% in small cap, 25% in mid cap, and 25% in large cap. And remaining 25% can be anywhere. In Flexicap, mutual fund manager can decide as long as I think they have to have minimum 65% allocation to equities. Now, which one is a better choice in your view? And if I'm looking at long-term 2040 portfolio, which one is a better mutual fund, from your perspective?
So, in my opinion, if you are looking at higher return, then multi-cap will deliver, in my opinion, better investment performance. From a risk perspective, Flexicap will have better risk control.
Right. Because
though the entire flexibility is given to fund manager, Flexicap has become very big. So the fund manager, from risk matrix, from liquidity matrix, will have 65%, 80% portfolio into large caps only.
Right. So
that is very clear. So, and you have a flavor of some small cap. I haven't seen a big Flexicap. If it is a good fund manager, good Flexicap, then you will have a lot of AUM being collected, then automatic size goes up. So if you are able to tolerate some volatility, then multi-cap is a better choice.
Right.
If you are not very comfortable with volatility, then Flexicap is a better choice.
Okay. And what about international mutual funds? So Indian mutual funds that are investing in international equities, be it, let's say, US stock market, or they're picking stocks from US stock market. And there are a few, names that come in my mind, but should we have some allocation to mutual funds that invest in, let's say, US stock market?
Don't restrict yourself to only US stock market. Have a Flexi approach, a portfolio which can invest in anywhere. Okay. So global investing is, in my opinion, is important because we consume lots of things which are not produced in India. Going forward, more and more things will get produced in India. But right now, just track your consumption basket.
Right.
So if your consumption baskets have 10, 20% consumption from international market, being your holiday, whatever you call it, then I think it is important you should have allocation to international funds as well. From a currency diversification perspective, from economic diversification perspective, from market diversification. And there are certain stocks which are not available in Indian market. Luxury goods, suppose you want to buy a brand, where do you get the brand?
Yeah.
So it is very important from that perspective.
And what do you have any thumb rule around percentage allocation?
No, it depends from client to client. And very honestly, I ask client, if you go by investment objectives, then sometimes you don't need to do anything.
Right.
But suppose client wants international location because they want to send their kids abroad. It was a very crazy thing. With the change environment, geopolitics, I don't know what international education will remain as attractive as it was last 10, 12 years. So one is that. Second, people just want to diversify for the sake of diversification.
Right.
So I think I would give not more than 10% to
the global equities. Okay. What about smart beta mutual funds? Do you suggest your clients to go for smart beta mutual funds or not?
I resist.
Right.
A reason I resist is we go that what is investing is basically is art and science. In a smart beta, what happened that you just focus on science, not on the art part.
Right.
So in any walk of life, suppose you are working on two parallel things and you say, I will just focus on this, you will create disbalance.
Right.
And this is what we have seen. The second challenge is which beta fund you will pick, because it is not the skill of a fund manager. So whether you look at low volatility, what are the various kind of thing? In every market, you have somebody doing well.
Right.
So, and most of the time people will pick what has done well in recent past, and generally winners rotate in any walk of life, including smart beta investing. So until unless you are very smart in getting and getting out, it is challenge. And in smart beta, never ever rely on back testing result, because back testing never fail in back testing.
Right.
Real life is very different. I'll tell you why real life is very different. When you do back testing, you take stock prices as given by indices, NSE, BSE. But in real life, when you buy and sell, there's impact cost.
Right.
You buy in real time. You pay brokerages. And we have witnessed, for instance, there's a one fund house, which have a Nifty 50 alpha fund. The number one holding was Brightcom.
Right.
12% plus, I believe. And then the indices threw it out of indices. The fund could not sell it because on that day, the Bright stock was in 20% down circuit.
Right.
So what happened? Okay, so it definitely add to the portfolio yield, but also significantly increases
The impact.
the
cost.
volatility on the portfolio.
Right.
So one need to be very careful about, if you are very smart and if you're very agile and you can create and do this. But again, my request is that never ever rely on a back testing result in any walk of life.
Right.
Because there's a very powerful tool we call reflexivity. If I'm participating in the market, I also impact the market. Suppose we are sitting in this room, is air conditioned, 24 degree. But when you sit here, you increase the temperature room by certain percentage.
Right.
When more people walk, what happened to room temperature?
Goes up.
It doesn't remain static. So when we participate in the market through our theories, we also impact the market. But these things are never captured in the backtesting result. So that is the reason that many theories in the market, like market cap to GDP, or P multiple, book value, everything look good in textbook, but in reality,
Very different.
it rarely works.
Right.
Sometimes it works, but sometimes it doesn't work.
Moving on, I want to check with you, Vijayji, Nifty 50 and Nifty 500, which is the better index from your perspective, and what are the
Nifty
reasons?
500 without doubt.
Right.
Because in my opinion, Nifty 50 is a worst perform indices in India. It is most tracked, but it's the worst perform indices because it has a 35% to BFSI, banks. Does our Indian economy have 35% weightage to bank?
Of course not.
There are many sectors of the economy which are not part of Nifty 50. Real estate is not part of Nifty 50. Suppose you want to build portfolio. Defense earlier was not part of the new consumer tech company was not earlier part of Nifty 50. So many fascinating industries which are not part of Nifty. And there are many legacy companies which are part of Nifty 50. Second thing is that the way the indices has been constructed is constructed on a free float.
Right.
So you have a HDFC Bank, which is 15-16 lakh crore of market cap, in your Tata TCS with 13-14 lakh crore market cap. But since HDFC Bank a higher floating stock, the weightage of HDFC Bank in Nifty 50 is 12-13%.
Yeah.
The weight of Tata TCS is only 4%. So if suppose TCS start performing, okay, it create less impact on Nifty 50. If HDFC Bank perform or Reliance perform, it have a huge impact on the Nifty. So floating stock becomes very, very important. And India is not the market where you just need to track 50 stocks, because India is a very fascinating market. Unlike any other market in the world, people don't appreciate the kind of, variety India has to offer. For instance, if you look at Taiwan, 60% plus market is completely driven by semiconductor industry. If you look at Russia, it is oil and gas and PSUs. If you look at Brazil, is oil, metal and all that. Even you look at US, it is Mega 7.
Right.
You take out Mega 7 out of S&P 500, the return collapses. In India, you have so many varieties of stocks. And I give some very interesting statistics. It is done by one of the AMC. If you look at 20 years data, how many stock out of S&P 500, how many stock compounded wealth by 20% for 20 years? 20% CAGR for 20 years out of 500 stocks. Now that data in India is 155 stocks. That data for USA was 35 stocks.
Right.
That data for China was 5 and that data for Japan was 2. What does it tell you? The kind of variety India offer, no other country. And you go to US, what do you eat in breakfast? Kellogg's? Oats, sorry, not Kellogg's, oats.
Yeah.
Look at variety in India. Just look at breakfast. Look at what we drink, not Coke, Pepsi. How many varieties we have? So, same thing get replicated in the number of stocks. Or you can look at number of political parties in India. And USA, Republican, Democrats. Look at how many. So that people don't appreciate. So many times they end up seeing India from the Western prism, which is very unfortunate. And one of the biggest, disservice is done by this Western trend economists to our country. So I'll give one very fascinating thing. If you look at current account deficit of India, one of the biggest reason the current account deficit is bad because we are buying gold. So Western trend economist tells you gold is a consumption item. An illiterate Indian housewife will tell you it is an asset. So who is a better economist?
Well, with the recent rally.
Not recent rally. Forget about recent rally. Recent rally is gold has gone up from 60,000 to 1,20,000.
Yeah.
But it was 4,000 rupees in 2000.
Yeah, sure. I mean, even if you look at long term, of course.
And it is not a consumption item, but they are telling it is a consumption item. So we learn lots from the Western world, but my saying that don't blindly, copy them. We have so much wisdom in this country. Use that wisdom. And, like I read a lot of, books written by these people, Western authors. But when I read our deep philosophy, I find that like you should get data from different sources. Now, Jain Dharma, there's Anekvad. What does it? Anekantvad. What is the meaning of that?
Yeah.
That one truth, but different.
There are multiple angles.
So you see from that perspective. So there's so much wisdom. There's so much, native intelligence in our country, which need to be, in my opinion, used, enhanced, and used for our betterment.
No, this is very, very insightful. Very, very insightful. Let's come back to our mutual funds discussion. And I also wanted to discuss switching the mutual funds, right? So if I start building a portfolio today and I've got 15 years before my goals are met, 2040. In this 15 years of journey, there will come a moment where I would have to decide to switch out some mutual funds from my portfolio. How do I decide which one to keep, which one to, dump now because of whatever reasons?
How does people do now? Just by one matrix, return.
Returns. Right now it's returns.
Return अच्छा नहीं है, इसका 16% था, इसका 12% था, take out 12%.
Correct.
Whenever you're tempted to do this, just look at two things. One is that just look at 2 years back or 3 years back. The 12% return fund and 16% return fund, where they were standing at that time, or the fund which you believe need to enter the portfolio, what was that fund at that particular moment of time? Winners keep rotating, you will see a very interesting result. Second thing you need to see, the 12% fund which you are seeing and you believe that the fund has not done well, look at the underlying portfolio and look at the underlying stocks. And you look at this stock and say, are these stocks you would like to own or you would like to disown?
Right.
Look at the earning potential of these stocks. Because what has happened is history. What decision you will take will impact what will happen in future.
Right.
So don't take call on the future completely on the basis of recent history.
Right.
So in my opinion, the first thing they should do, very, very selective about the scheme they select.
Right.
There are 47 AMC in India. There are 25, approximately half of them has done a fantastic job. Allocate money into these schemes, okay? And stay put for a long period of time. Don't try to switch too much. The benefits are not in your favor.
Right.
Because you may end up switching, you may end up paying capital gain tax and invest in another scheme. There's no guarantee that the another scheme will outperform the old one. So it is, in my opinion, I generally don't switch schemes.
Right.
Even for my client, until somebody is like pestering me a lot. I say we have been very, very careful the way we allocate funds to you. Until as I see some fraud happen, some front running cases, some key management person risk is happening, some fund house are being sold, then we know that during this phase the fund will not do much. So these are things. For instance, ELS scheme. If there's a past ELS scheme in the client portfolio, we would look at taking it out slowly. Because now we know the new money will not come.
Right.
So fund manager don't have too much motivation to, because the new tax regime is very difficult to get money in ELSS fund. So we are not encouraging people to invest in ELSS, and we are also telling people that if you have money, just start slowly taking it out, because if there's no future significant inflow coming, what is the motivation of somebody? They may try to protect and do a good job, but more focus will go on where the money is coming in.
Right, of course, of course. So much of wisdom in every word you're saying, Vijay. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And I want to ask you also, and I want to learn from you, your mistakes you would have made, right? I think you're sitting here after such a deep experience of 30, 40 years. What were your mistakes when it comes to managing your own money? And do you want to share any one or two of them, please?
Yeah, a lot actually, not one or two. One is that you start lending to your friends, relatives, and that is a mistake I made.
Did you lose money there?
Of course, it's always like that. Who returns money back? Every time, bhaiya, 3 mahine ke liye le rahe hain, baad mein you know what happened after 3 months.
So did you stop it now?
No, so I learned from it.
Okay.
And what I have done is something very interesting. So we have put an investment committee at home.
Okay.
So me, my wife and my 2 adult kids are part of investment committee. So anytime I feel tempted to lend money, 3 of them say no. Anytime my wife and their relative comes and asks for money, we are not the single decision maker.
Okay.
Every decision has to be approved by unanimously by all of us. And they'll say no. मतलब भाई मेरे हाथ में नहीं है, मैं घर पे बात करूंगा, वो सब agree किए तो आपको दूंगा, वरना मैं दूं. And even when we lend, we are very clear that this money will not come back.
Right.
So if you go with that mindset कि पैसा नहीं आने वाला, then you very calibrate कितना आप उसको पैसा देंगे.
Right.
So that is the one thing I have done. Second thing, the second house I bought with the whole intention that I have 2 sons, so
बच्चों के लिए हो जाएगा.
But I think you should not plan too much. Kids have their own life to live by, and it has not done well, very honestly. And actually, I bought in the bottom of 2009. It is not I bought in the peak, but I live in Dalbagh, Sivdi area. The property prices in this side of area has not gone up, and if I look at interest costs and everything, it is not a great decision I have made. But when I took that decision, it looked like a great decision. Okay, I should have sounded about this with at least few people. Okay, so I always believe that investment decision need to be bounced off. Don't take, even you want to decide, I want to do this, but consult your investment advisor, what they are saying about it. Take opinion of people who doesn't agree with you. That is the biggest learning. You ask, kyun nahi lena chahiye? Then they will tell you this is a reason. You listen to those reasons. Don't try to defend your position.
Right.
And it comes naturally to defend our position. But अगर आपको आगे जिंदगी में बढ़ना है तो it is very important that you listen and reflect on what people are saying. So these are the 2, I believe, the biggest mistake of my life. But now I hope I don't have to
you don't make them again. So let's talk about the best investments then. So any best investment so far in your career that you think, you know what, I nailed this one. I'm really proud of it.
So one is that I haven't invested in insurance policies.
Right.
Okay. I haven't taken FDs in my life.
Okay.
No FDs. So just one very small, because a bank RM keep
asking you.
Sir, 5,000 ka kar do to chalo theek hai. And some I bought a property, some builder wanted for GST. So beside that, I haven't done any. I haven't done in last almost 25 years. I haven't touched direct stocks.
Okay.
So I have a PMS, I have a mutual fund, I have AIF. Everything is there. So the I don't know what has happened that when we were setting up Birla Mutual Fund in '94, I attended so many presentations. I was given the task to go to all the Birla plant and make presentation about Birla Mutual Fund. And I was talking about equities and mutual fund and I started loving it. So I said, यार अभी दूसरों को बोल रहे हैं तो खुद भी करना चाहिए. So from that day, I started investing 50% of my take-home salaries into equities and equity mutual fund. And very honestly, because of that one decision, I don't do any planning. उसके बाद जो पैसा बनता है आराम से खर्च करो, because the portfolio has become so big today.
When was it, sir? When
94. I started 94.
So from 1994,
94.
You've been putting 50% from your income
of my income into mutual fund consistently.
So that's like 35 years,
30 or 31
30 plus years.
Yeah. I never took money out except when I bought this house.
Right.
Part of that is part of the portfolio. That again I regret, but I bought a house. So this is what I've done. So if anybody asks me, and the very fascinating things, both my kids, when they started earning, when they were doing CA, their stipend money went into SIP. Now both of them are working. Their entire salary goes into, and money they need, I give it to them.
Right.
So they themselves has created their good portfolio, and I'm so happy that since they have discussion at home, they are not looking, they're young guys, but they are not looking at crypto, F&O, none. They don't touch.
Right.
They just invest in mutual funds.
Right.
So I think because of these things, my kids also learned the power of compounding very fast.
Right. That's very good. When it comes to financial wisdom, who do you look up to? Do you read books? Do you have any mentors or any sources that you can share?
So I believe that there are no permanent heroes and there are no permanent enemies in this world. So you can pick wisdom from the worst of the people, and the greatest of the people can do certain things. So I believe that one need to keep eyes and ears open, and wherever you find something interesting, pick those. So I read varieties of subject. There's no one particular genre I just read, and you get lots of wisdom from even Bollywood, even music. It's such a fascinating journey. From mythology, you get so much wisdom. And my favorite subject, very honestly, is mythology. Vijay,
I want to move to now rapid fire round. I think some of these you might have already covered, but let's see, right? Short and sweet answers. Who's the best mutual fund manager according to you?
It keeps changing, so I'll
You're not going to answer anybody. Okay. Who's your favorite investor that you look up to?
Anybody who have patience is my
Any names come in your mind?
There's no, because again I'm telling you, don't create heroes.
Right.
The heroes, you should not meet your heroes.
Right. What's the biggest secret of the equity market?
The biggest secret, unlike any other asset category, equity is the only asset category which is most predictable.
Right.
People saying it is unpredictable is a completely wrong notion, because equity of earning. So if you have bought Nifty at 24,000 in EPS 1,000 rupees and nothing happened to the market, the earning keep going from 1,000 to 1120 to 1,300, 1,400, market will automatically become attractive. There's no other asset category, be real estate, be it gold, be it silver, have this property. And many times we just look at the price movement, we don't look at what is happening to earning. Ultimately, equity is driven by the earnings only. So the biggest secret, equity is the most predictable asset category.
Brilliant. Where do you see Nifty by 2040?
I think it can multiply, it can double every 5 to 6 years. So let's take 5 years from now. So 50,000 by 30, 1 lakh. I think it can be anything between 175 to 2 lakh level.
Right. Which market fall scared you the most, if at all you got scared during 2008 or 20 or any other falls?
Actually, market rise scares me more.
Right.
Market fall doesn't scare me more, because I know I invest regularly. So if the market fall, I get more units. So very honestly, in 2008, 2020.
You were not worried at all?
Not at all. I was worried for my client, but not for me.
Right.
Okay.
What's your one advice for couples to manage their finances?
I think every week they need to spend at least half an hour, 45 minutes discussing about the current earnings, where the money is going, how much they need to save for future.
Right.
And the longest goal, you need to start saving first for that. So retirement is the longest goal. You start thinking about that, and health, emergency and all that. And investment decision, both spouses need to participate.
Right.
So both of them are good learning about it, how the money is being managed. And then pass on this message to your next generation as well. Because what we have witnessed that those who are managing money for the family, the learning has not gone to the people for whom they are saving ultimately.
Right.
The second generation. People don't create will. People don't create trust. They believe will is the best thing, but will can be challenged. So if you ask me, the biggest challenge I have seen with big HNI families, that it is a one person deciding everything, or two people deciding everything for the entire family. I think this need to change. You need to put a proper investment framework in place.
Right. So more collaboration within the family and involve your children as well. What age is appropriate for children, according to you?
It depends on the family dynamics, but I think when they start finishing school and going to the colleges, start playing a small money game with them.
Right.
Okay, if I put money, we used to give gullak na earlier, because गुल्लक में पैसा डालते थे, क्योंकि इन्फ्लेशन नहीं होता तो पैसा प्रोटेक्ट रहता था. अभी तो इन्फ्लेशन इतना तो गुल्लक का मतलब नहीं हुआ. So you tell your kids that I'm doing 500 rupees SIP on your behalf. You see the portfolio. You start doing that.
If you were to go to dinner with a celebrity, who would that be?
If dead people are allowed, then I will look at Adi Shankaracharya ji. I would look at Mahana Pratap, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, Sardar Patel. In a sports personality, Major Dhyan Chand.
Right.
And among the living legend, definitely Prime Minister Modi, Rahul Dravid. These are people I would love to.
Brilliant. That's a very good list. If time and money was not a limitation, where would you go for a holiday?
National parks, anywhere in India.
Right.
So I love going to these tiger sanctuaries, and it's such a fascinating place.
Peace and calm.
And there's a time period where you need to go and come back, and no alcohol, no non-vegetarian food in many places. So it's a fascinating thing.
That's it. I've thoroughly enjoyed this one, Vijayji, and I think there are a lot of fresh perspective in this entire, 50 minutes, 1 hour of conversation that I've gained. And I feel like after this 1 hour, I become slightly better, hopefully, and use some of your learning. So thank you so much for your time.